We've been drinking this whole time.
You are now listening to the Geeky Robots Podcast.
Great Scott.
Hello, Geeky Army, and welcome to episode 4 of the Geeky Robots Podcast. Star Wars Celebration was last weekend, and we got so much awesome new content that we just can't wait to talk about it. So, thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you're on YouTube, and visit our website and connect with us on social media. I'm filling in for Media Mike, who couldn't be with us today. We actually sent him on an expedition to figure out which of the Dakotas Mount Rushmore is in. So he's out there, he's discovering, so we can finally get the answer. I know you guys are trying to figure it out too, and really it's something that's plagued humankind forever. So we figured we would do the legwork and we do it for you guys, and we would find out once and for sure which of the Dakotas Mount Rushmore resides in. I am Brenton, and I am joined by...
My name is Riot.
And Maui, I am so excited. Let's get this thing rolling.
I think
get
this
the
is
ball
going to
rolling.
be a very emotionally driven podcast because we're all very big fans of Star Wars and we fight about it constantly.
Yes. So just for some context, we stand at different, I would say, polar opposites when it comes to our opinion of Star Wars. I am a big enthusiast of diversity when it comes to loving all of the films. I love the prequels, I love the originals, and I've loved the, what are they called now? The sequels. That's the part of the movies.
I guess they're sequels.
Yeah.
They're considered the sequels, right? So, however, I know that you guys, I'll let you describe your position.
We're a little more traditionalist. I mean, we love everything Star Wars, but we are a little more traditionalist.
Yeah, you like the Skywalker story. You like your characters, the main trio, right?
Here's the thing. I love Star Wars. Anything Star Wars, I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
I
which is
respect.
true, yeah.
I'm 100% in. I love Star Wars. I respect all the additional things that have been created in the name of Star Wars. Although I don't agree with a lot of things that you say. I'm more of a fan of the originals, 4, 5, and 6. Can't touch that. But we'll talk about that more.
So let me ask you a question, because you say you love all things Star Wars. Do you love the prequels?
Do I love the prequels? No, my stand is that I love all things Star Wars. I get excited and giddy when I see anything that has to do with Star Wars or hear anything that has to do with Star Wars. I give everything and anything about Star Wars a chance. I don't totally agree with a lot of the things that have been going on in the new Star Wars movies. However, I still respect it, and I will always be there opening day. I'm more of a 4 through 6 kind of girl. But I still respect all things Star Wars. In regards to the prequels, I love aspects of it. They're not my favorite. I love little parts of it.
So that's the context.
Yeah, me and her agree. I mean, in the sense that we're 4, 5, and 6. That was our childhood. That was everything that we really loved, and we get excited of all. I mean, basically everything that you said. We get excited of all things Star Wars. We've been to the conventions. We're not opposed to any new content, but we are a little reserved when it comes to getting away from the Skywalker story, at least preemptively, because we know it's going to go away eventually, right? At least preemptively. But we're here to talk about. Our Star Wars Celebration that just happened this weekend.
Yeah,
we had a lot of content. We had the drop of the new trailer, a teaser trailer. It's only a teaser, and it's still got a lot of buzz going on and a lot of theories. And I would like to get the theories later, but first I want to talk about this trailer. What did you feel when you first saw this trailer?
I was extremely excited. The thing is, and I think a lot of people share in this matter, the fact that a lot of people had shied away, turned away, were upset over The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. And then everyone collectively cheered for this. Mm-hmm. Everyone collectively was just happy for this. Because it unified a fan base that so long has been divided. Mm-hmm. And I felt that. I wasn't in the event. Thankfully, shout out to YouTube for having that live event where we were able to at least hear the cheers. And hearing the unification of these fan bases, where for just moments, for 2 minutes, we were able to be like, dude, this looks awesome. This looks amazing. So I am a very big advocate of the dark side of the Force, of the Sith, of the Knights of Ren. So when I heard Darth Sidious laugh at the end, my eyes watered up. I cried.
Yeah. I can when I hear that, it gives me goosebumps. Every time I've shown it to somebody, it gives me goosebumps. But first I want to get your reaction, Maui. What did this mean to you? How did you feel when you saw this trailer?
Going into this trailer, I honestly had no idea what to expect because I was like, I don't know where you can go from episode 8 because I'll be honest with you, if it was going to be a story just about Kylo Ren and Rey, I just felt like that wouldn't be interesting to me. It wouldn't be interesting enough. And so looking at the trailer, I was kind of cautious. What got me excited, I know you were excited about the Sidious laugh. What got me excited was actually reading the title, The Rise of Skywalker. Because I was like, Skywalker? Rise of Skywalker? I was one of those people, and I know that someone on this panel is definitely going to disagree with me, but I was one of those people that I was very deeply upset that they killed off Luke. I tried to go in with an open mind when I saw that movie. I waited 6 months to see how I felt. I was still upset.
Second time.
We saw it a second time.
Yeah.
I waited 8 months. Now it's over a year. I still feel the same way. It was such a high sense of injustice that I felt. So in seeing the title, The Rise of Skywalker, it actually made me feel like, okay, who is the ultimate Skywalker besides Anakin? Luke Skywalker. Does this mean that somehow, some way in episode 9, they're going to somehow make justice of Luke's death? Or something like that. Okay. I don't know, but that makes me sound happy.
So how would they, in your opinion, how would they make justice of it? How would they...
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea. But the fact that Skywalker is in the title means that it is still a Skywalker-centric story.
Okay.
We can go into theories later, but the fact that it has the last name Skywalker in it makes me feel happy because it's like, yes, like, please, like, give me some justice for Luke. Hashtag justice for Luke.
Okay, so let's break down this trailer real quick. So it starts off, you have Rey in the desert, right? Doing her patented...
Everyone starts off breathing really loud.
Yeah.
That sounds like a gorilla though.
So, I mean, is she on a new planet? Are we back at Tatooine? Because it feels like this whole thing is kind of coming full circle. We started with the Skywalker. We started with Luke. Now we're back at Skywalker again. Are they back at Tatooine? Is this a new?
No, this might
planet?
be the planet that she was born in.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of desert planets in this galaxy.
I do notice that. I mean, obviously, this trailer is only giving us what we want to see, and hopefully it's not everything. It's just a teaser trailer. I know it's not everything, but I'm like, oh, okay, another sandy planet.
She might be back on Jakku, which is
right.
The planet where she
that's
started.
the theory. Yeah.
Okay, so she's on here. She's facing down a TIE fighter, which we can only assume is Kylo.
But did you see the glove?
I saw the gloves. Now, when I saw this, I got very reminiscent of when Darth Vader was hunting down Luke in A New Hope when he was trying to take down the Death Star, and he was twisting his little gauges and like the way he was driving and everything. It kind of made me really reminisce about that scene of Vader hunting down Luke. So I think they kind of maybe played on that a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's Kylo. I highly doubt it's any form of like Vader or anything like that.
I don't think it's Kylo.
Who do you think it is?
I don't think that it's Kylo Ren because of the fact that for the Episode 9 Star Wars Celebration panel, a lot of the actors came on stage, but there's a whole bunch of other people that they cast that are not in the trailer and they were not in the panel. And my suspicion is, out of all the new people, you know, Carrie Russell, who's an actress, I don't know if you're familiar with who she is, they cast her in an unknown role. And And I don't know. I think to myself, like, why does it have to be Kylo? We automatically assume Kylo. The trailer does not show his face.
But that's his. That's his.
You don't know.
TIE fighter.
It could be another Sith. It could be another Knight of Ren. It doesn't always have to be Kylo.
You could speculate that.
Expand
but I'm pretty
the
sure
universe, and it could be a different actor.
Okay, it could be.
Or
Kylo.
a different character, rather.
Okay.
So I don't think it could be Kylo.
Okay, all right. So she's facing them down, and then they pull off this like slow motion stunt of her like flipping backwards.
Which I thought was fantastic.
Which is cool.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a cool stunt.
Yeah.
I can only assume that she's gonna like flip and like use the lightsaber to cut the TIE fighter in half or something like that. It just looks like a cool maneuver. I mean, it almost looks like she's not gonna make it. Like she's flipping and she's not gonna make it. But they're definitely. It's more of a Jedi thing to do,
Do you think she's in the middle of a training exercise?
Oh, you think maybe it's like somebody else is helping her out, or it's like a hologram or something like that?
I don't know.
It could be. She could be training, because it's a very odd move to do when you're out in the middle of nowhere, unless like Luke's talking to her in that scene and we just don't see it. He's helping to guide her.
What if it's Luke in?
Luke is dead.
I can't believe that.
So. She does the flip, right? And we see Poe's there and Finn's on the planet, or at least it looks like they are. And she does this maneuver, and then we cut to a scene of Kylo. He's with the troopers, and he kind of like takes the hilt and like jams it into somebody. And I guess he's back. He's kind of taking over with the New Order. He's taking over the galaxy again. What do you think from this?
Okay, so we see someone soldering Kylo's mask back together.
Yeah.
Right? So
you think that's a little bit of a slap in the face to Rian Johnson, like undoing what he did?
So here's my thing, right? And this is my one gripe with this trailer. I'm breaking the fourth wall of the narrative here. In the fact that the audience knows that J.J. Abrams directed Episode 7, Rian Johnson, Episode 8. Now we have JJ back, right? Yeah. So you had the awkward middle child telling the narrative that we needed to hear. Now, whether people liked it or not, let's put that aside. Let's set aside our biases. The one thing that I fear, and I could be wrong, this is my fear, is that, of course, a lot of people did not like The Last Jedi, that now JJ comes in and undoes or pretty much unwinds everything that Rian Johnson created. And the reason why I don't like that is because if you're telling a story and then you start to unwind or undo the things that you said in the last chapter, it creates a sort of shallow story. It creates an empty narrative where you're saying, okay, well, I mean, you built all these things up and then you destroyed it, which was in The Last Jedi, which a lot of people got upset about. You built up Snoke, you killed him. You built up Rey's parents, she's a nobody. Kylo is this apprentice, and he destroys his mask and he says, forget the past, I'm going to do my own thing. What do we see in this trailer? Rise of the Skywalker, showing Rey. Then we see Darth Sidious back. So now we have another Sith. We have the mask that was destroyed to forget the past being put back together. That popular line of forget the past. And now we're seeing Luke at the end saying, well, no one's ever really gone.
Yeah.
So are these going to be conflicting narratives just because, hey guys, last time we did a story, no one really liked it. So here's the next chapter where we undo everything we did. We kind of white out our mistake. That kind of scares me.
I don't think. Okay, so J.J. Abrams is a much more popular director than Rian Johnson. He has a much better track record, but he's also a professional. So I don't think he's gonna just backslap Rian Johnson and just undo what he did. I think we're gonna see him using what Rian Johnson created in a way that'll help not fix things, but put them in a direction that is more applicable to... It's going to make it... I don't want to say fan service, because it kind of is fan service, but Rian Johnson set Star Wars in a direction that took away its mystery. He made it too blatant and too in your face. So I think JJ is going to put that mystery back. That's what he always likes to do. Lost and other things that he's done, Alias, he always did. There's always mystery with him, right? So I don't think he'll make it say like Kylo was lying, but he could say, hey, Kylo thought your parents were nothing because your parents were foster parents. Or, we're not forgetting the past. He's putting it back together, maybe because Sidious is telling him, listen, you're not ready. He'll probably play off what Rian Johnson made. I don't think he's just going to erase it. Because that would be somewhat unprofessional on his part. To just say, hey, all that stuff that guy made that's canon is now I'm just going to erase it and take it away.
To my understanding, it was actually J.J. Abrams who made the creative decision to have Rey be a nobody since episode 7. He was actually, to my understanding, it was actually his idea, and that Daisy Ridley, she actually knew who Rey's parents were all along, that she was a nobody. And so everyone's blaming Rian Johnson for that when it was actually J.J. Abrams' original idea. That's what I understood, and that's what I had heard. I can't actually justify that or see if that's true.
And here's
that's
a really
what I
good
heard.
point.
I don't know if J.J. Abrams is going to retcon everything. I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't think he's going to do that either. But I
don't
think
think he's gonna
that,
do that.
although let's say if that was something that was pre-planned and it wasn't Rian Johnson's idea, right? The portrayal of something is still everything. So the way that it was directed, the way that it was done, it was still, even during the movie, they still made it seem like her parents were somebody. Like, when she goes into that dark area and she asks, like, who are my parents? And they show all those versions of her. They still had that mystery there, and
Yes.
it didn't.
It made us want to ask the question.
We felt
what
like
is
you were
going
gonna get
on?
the answer
Right.
in that movie, and I mean, you did get the answer. So they did give you the answer, but
It was unsatisfying.
But it was unsatisfying in the way that it was portrayed. Yes. So now moving forward, we get this image of who's back from the originals.
Oh, you have Leia. Them hugging.
Leia hugging, but
Oh, you
before
also
that,
have Lando.
we have Lando Calrissian. So there is some continuity here because he's wearing the same clothes. I guess he never grew out of them. He's wearing the same clothes he was in Solo.
Yeah.
So they're keeping this kind of like the continuity going in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like is the fact that in Solo the movie he says, "I'm gonna get my ship back," and Solo says, "Over my dead body." And then
And now he's dead. Yeah.
and now he's dead.
I saw that meme,
And
yeah.
here comes Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm so happy to see Leia in that trailer. I don't know how in the world they're gonna put her in this movie properly.
I think she's just gonna. She looked like they were saying goodbye almost. Like, hey, listen, I'm done.
Yeah, but it's interesting if any of you guys got to see the episode 9 panel online. J.J. Abrams was talking about what to do with the future of Leia, and he says that when they were getting together, seeing how this story was going to come together, he said, we can't, like, what are we going to do? We're going to replace Carrie Fisher? We can't replace Carrie Fisher with a new actress. We can't do the effect of the CGI. There's no way. We have to use Carrie Fisher. So he says that they use all these other clips from the cutting room floor and that they had to write episode 9 around those clips in order to make them work. Now, is there going to be, maybe with her clothes, they'll try to computerize, I guess, like her
Create a
clothes.
stunt double with her in the
Yeah,
back.
right.
Right,
back, some
maybe
back
something
scenes,
like
yeah.
that. But, I just thought it was so nice to hear J.J. Abrams said that they really wanted to honor Carrie Fisher and they wanted to use the original clips from her. How in the world they're going to write that in the story, I have absolutely no idea, because the scene in the trailer of Carrie Fisher hugging Daisy Ridley, I mean, all of us know that that's the same scene from episode 7 at the end, where they hug together and Leia's telling Rey bye.
But did she cry in that one too?
I have a feeling that's a computerized cry.
So was it after they met each other, after they got back from
That was towards the end,
defeating the
when
First Order?
When Rey was looking
New
for
Order?
Luke. And she says, "May the Force be with you," and they hug each other.
You think it's I didn't catch that. You think
Yes,
it's a repeat?
it looks like the same exact scene.
I'll have to go back and watch
but
that.
I know they put that scene in the teaser trailer as kind of like a way to honor, like, hey, we didn't forget. We're definitely putting Leia in this movie. The real Carrie Fisher.
With Disney's technology and what they did in Captain Marvel and with the faces in Rogue One, like they're
not going to do that with her, though.
They're
J.J.
not?
Abrams says he is not doing that with Carrie Fisher. It will be all real scenes of her.
Well, then
on the
that's
cutting room
impressive
floor,
if they can do
and
that.
And they
yeah.
wrote episode 9 around those scenes to make it fit. So
that
how
almost
in the
worries me
world
a
are they
little
gonna do
bit
that?
that they're ball and chain to that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I had also heard, which now looking in hindsight doesn't make a lot of sense, is that when she passed away, they had said that they had already gotten most of the scenes down.
Okay.
But then again, this was way before production even started, I think.
And it was before JJ came back.
Exactly.
Well,
So
yeah.
when she first passed away, that was a question that many people were asking. What's going to happen with episode 9? And that was floating around. Again, what the source was. At the time, it seemed pretty legitimate. Oh, it seemed like they had gotten her scenes down. Fast forward, and it seems like that really wasn't the case. So what it is that they're going to do, there is a lot of speculation around that. I'm actually not sure. I know that there has been a lot of conflictive views on recreating a character using CGI, getting a step-in actor, doing motion capture. There's a lot of debate around that, so I don't think they're going to do that, especially with something that's already so rocky and with a split fan base. So they're probably going to have to Paul Walker it.
What do you mean?
No, Paul Walker in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, where he had his scenes and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well, like I said, they said they are using.
And they recreated,
the
like,
scenes.
even the car with him saying, getting in the
Yeah.
car, it's been a long. And he gets
I gotta
in,
play
it's-
that
it-
for Star Wars.
Right.
The song's gonna make a
The same
comeback.
song, the same song.
I
Yeah.
think so. And then Carrie Fisher's gonna take off in a Gran Torino.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, right.
And you're going to see the two moons.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so then we have Poe, Finn, and C-3PO. Remade C-3PO.
Yeah,
He's
exactly. Here's another thing that's
He's
undone.
completely golden now.
Why is his arm back?
I'm sure. I mean, that's a small thing. Like, come on.
but
It's
you're
a small
undoing.
thing.
But why did you have to undo that?
Why? He's around a bunch of people that are mechanics. Why can't they fix him?
Because how are they gonna? Oh, you know what? I have a gold arm that looks exactly like that. Come here, boy, and like replace it.
Why are the mechanics rednecks? Come
on, boy.
That robot over there looks a little broke.
I got an arm just for you. Like what?
Why not? Because look, I'm telling you, we're coming full circle here. Star Wars is coming full circle for the last run. This is your last chance to do all the fan service. We're coming full circle.
Here's my thing.
It doesn't have to be fan service, though.
Here's my other thing. J.J. Abrams, when he did A Force Awakens, was
The Force Awakens.
a force.
It was
A
force.
tingly force.
It was A Force Awakens?
No, it was the
No,
Force
The
Awakens.
Force
But the Force
Awakens.
is a force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's The Force Awakens.
La Force. Art thou force. Awake thee.
It sounds like a French cologne. Le Force by Calvin Klein.
So everyone, this was my biggest issue with that movie. It was a carbon copy of A New Hope.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. You
I
had a
don't
Death
agree.
Star. You had a big villain, and then you had the smaller
Oh,
villain.
all right.
which
So
is
it's
the
a
fake.
carbon copy because there's a villain.
No, it's
Oh,
a
okay,
carbon
just
copy
carbon.
because you have a Death Star. It's a carbon
It
copy
wasn't a Death Star, it was
because
a
you have
Death
a
Planet.
bounty hunter, which is Phasma. Every single character was an exact
I would not
replica.
put Phasma anywhere near the same genre
Yes,
as Boba Fett.
it was a great value version of A New Hope.
You mean the Walmart
no,
brand?
It was a Walmart
It
brand.
was the perfect plan to bring new people back and new people and old people back with something that felt familiar
That's
with
correct.
new elements.
That is correct.
That's the way you had to.
That's the way
because they
you see it.
Well, what happened with the Phantom Menace when they tried to go?
It was amazing.
No, for you because you were 7 at the time. But majority of the fan base was like, the Battle of the Fates was great, but it was very political, and it was a little over the head of a lot of people that wanted to come and see Jedi's
if you don't
fight and do
understand
things.
Separatist and the Republic, then
It was too much. It was
taxation to these outer realms. Then
I'm not
obviously,
discrediting.
No, I'm kidding.
To taxation, you lost me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not discrediting the prequels. I still have a special amount of love for the prequels, but it was the perfect thing to get people back into Star Wars. again.
So, okay, well, I'm going to keep writing the tale of what I was saying.
Okay.
And ignore.
And I'm going to keep refuting you for all true fans out there.
So that was the number one gripe I had with The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams back. Is this going to be The Jedi Returns? The Return of the Jedi? Is this going to be a carbon copy of The Return of the Jedi? That's my thing that I'm like, That's my thing that I'm like,
Okay.
Okay, the next scene. Yeah,
All right, so Lando's back. We're happy to see him. We're happy that Billy D finally got in there. Honestly, in my opinion, Billy D. Williams should have been the guy that they were going to meet in Canto Bight that was at the Crab's table. She talked about him like he was this amazing guy, and he was the best shooter she's ever seen, and that would have been the perfect place to put Lando in. But Rian Johnson is not exactly a Star Wars fan. He put that weird dude in there that nobody knows, and he was irrelevant. But what made that scene better is if you would have saw Lando. And I don't think Rian Johnson is like an old school Star Wars fan. I don't know anything about Rian Johnson. I'm just speaking for him, from his work.
Rian Johnson.
So then we get to the big part, right? We saw the new C-3PO. Then we get to the big part where they're on a cliff. Luke says the line. That line, nobody's ever really gone, which we know from the past that there's Force ghosts.
Yeah, we saw Yoda in the last one.
Yeah, and Yoda in the last one, he actually showed that Force ghosts can affect the physical realm when he brought down that lightning bolt. And honestly, they've always talked about how the Force ghosts they're more powerful in a sense because they can manipulate things and they can talk to people and give wisdom even though they're dead. So he's not really giving anything that is groundbreaking through that. But the two biggest parts, is in the distance. What do they see?
Oh yeah, they see the broken remains of a Death Star.
Yes.
Second Death Star.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that would be the second Death Star, the recreated Death Star in the Return of the Jedi. So we see the Death Star, and it took me like once or twice watching it to realize what that was. The screen goes black, and we hear it. Chills. Literal chills.
I died.
Okay?
I died.
When it first happened, I didn't believe it. I was like, what? Because I was watching it
the
live
live. It was
stream.
a little blurry.
Yeah. I didn't believe it. I thought that was maybe, somebody else, but I knew that laugh. I thought it was the Emperor. But then, at the live event, Ian McDiarmid walked out on stage, and everybody went silent, and you just heard him say, "Roll it again." And that confirmed that the Emperor is in this movie.
Die. No.
Look at my arm. I just got goosebumps. Look at it.
It's also cold in here.
No, I didn't have goosebumps this whole time. I just got goosebumps.
Someone's cutting onions because I'm crying.
So, like I said, this movie is coming around full circle. We are back where we started in a sense, which I know is like your worst fear. But it is we're back at the beginning, so maybe we can end it and then they can start forward from there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, when I was listening to the trailer, the laugh, I was kind of confused at first because I was like, is this Luke Skywalker? And then I was like, no, this sounds like an evil laugh. And then it wasn't until the trailer finished and you saw Ian McDiarmid on stage where I was like, oh, it's the Emperor's laugh. I think it's pretty cool. The only thing is I am very keenly interested, more so curious. I'm more curious than excited to know how in the world they're going to shoehorn Palpatine in here. I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, did they purposely put Palpatine in episode 9 because J.J. Abrams and the crew board people and Kathleen Kennedy, were they like, okay, episode 8 was such a mess. Let me see all these pieces here. What can we do with this? You know what everyone's going to love? You know what's going to get everybody back? Let's put the Emperor in there. Did they do that? Or was this an original plan all along? And how in the world are you going to wrap up an Emperor storyline in the third episode? I mean, in the episode 9 without the movie being 3 hours.
Well, this
long.
movie definitely has to
How
be
are
longer
you
than
gonna
the
wrap
rest.
that? I just feel like it's a lot to explain.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of confused about that. So when I saw the trailer, my reactions on the laugh and everything, I kind of feel like like a boyfriend cheated on me, and I feel like You hurt me. I can't ever talk to you again. But then you forgive them, and it's like, I forgive you, but
and they bring a big teddy bear and flowers.
But I'm gonna keep you at a distance in a way because I don't know if I can fully trust you. We'll see. We'll see.
Definitely.
That is my stance on episode 9. I am.
They
excited.
come back, they're like, I've changed. I swear, I've changed.
Yes.
That's Darth Sidious's hat. The title is the chocolate.
That's how I feel.
And you're just like, is this guy gonna hit me again? You know, am I
Yes.
gonna get hurt?
That's how I feel. Like with episode 9, I'm excited, but in a weird way, I'm more so curious, and I'm kind of looking at it from a distance because I'm like, I don't know. Is this gonna feel like a big whole mess put together to try to not retcon episode 8, but to try to make the fans happy, and let's make this people happy and these people happy and this set of fans happy. Let's make all these fans happy and let's put a whole bunch of stuff in episode 9 to make everybody happy. No, I don't want that. I want the original story as intended, whether we like it or not. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, we got the title.
Yeah, and also one more thing I wanted to add. If
Okay.
you guys get a chance to watch the panel, Billy D. Williams, who's 82 years old, he was on the panel, and Billy D. Williams, I feel like, you know how Harrison Ford is Han Solo and Han Solo is Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Billy D. Williams is Lando Calrissian and so forth. Because Stephen Colbert, he was asking Billy D. Williams, like, oh, what did you do to train to get back into the role of Lando Calrissian? And he was like, Lando never left me. You know? And it's like, oh.
He's very smooth. Yeah, he's very smooth.
Like, okay. Lando never left him. He is Lando. So I just wanted to comment on that. I thought that was pretty cool.
After the goosebump raising laugh, we then get the title, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, to me, whenever I hear The Rise of, it always has like an evil connotation. I've never, to my knowledge, found a movie or seen a movie where like The Rise of was like the good guys.
Yeah, the rise of the apes and
Yeah, exactly. It's always like the
the rise of the penguins.
It's the walk of the. Isn't that the walk? The march of the penguins.
The march
That's
of the
the march
penguins.
of the penguins, which was
Another evil.
Yeah, they were evil in that movie too. But I'm not, so to me, this has like a negative connotation.
Dang, now I'm trying to think of a rise
I don't agree.
where it's good.
I don't know any rises that are good. If you guys know a rise that is good, put it in the comments because I can't think of any rises that
Like
are good.
Rising Crust.
Here's the thing. Now that we're going, speaking of the title, we're going into theories. I've heard a lot of different fan theories on the internet. I don't know what it could be, but I heard a very interesting theory that the rise of the Skywalkers could more so entail an idea of new Jedi that come out and they become the Skywalkers.
I would like that.
Because in the original writings of George Lucas, he actually, instead of calling the Jedi Jedis, he actually called them the Skywalkers.
Interesting.
So, you know, what if the rise of Skywalker could mean that, you know, maybe they take, you know, these new Jedi come forth that Rey trains at some point, and they deem the name Skywalkers in honor of Luke Skywalker, and they're
Interesting.
basically like a new era and a new what is it, society of Jedi that they call themselves the Skywalkers.
Luke did say it's time for the Jedi to
Yeah.
end.
So I mean, you're
So
calling
maybe
them.
Right.
the Jedi, and they burned the books, even though at the end they kept them, but whatever.
Right.
Really, and Yoda said, you know, that it's time to pass
Right.
those things because, you know, this story, really starting from episode 1, is a story of the Jedi's failures. When you really
That's right.
boil it down,
You're right.
Boil it down, sip the tea. All it really is,
What kind of tea? What flavor?
it's a Jedi chamomile.
It's,
Ah,
I can't remember.
Earl
It's
Grey.
blue milk tea.
It's really about the Jedi's failures. They failed Anakin. They failed
That's
all
true.
the people because they
You
were
think
there
that's
to
a
protect
metaphor?
the people.
You think that's a metaphor for religion and how it's kind of failed the people in a sense?
I think it is.
Because the Jedi is a religion, right?
Yeah, it's
So when they call themselves the Skywalkers, they're not. We calling them the new Jedi, but they're not going to be Jedi. They're just going to be
yeah. What if they deem the
late
name
lightsaber
Skywalker?
wielding Jedi. Mm-hmm. But will they, based on your theory, would they go then put peace throughout the galaxy, or are they
Yes.
just going to? But then again, you're pushing your ideologies on people like the Jedi, and you're going to be doomed to fail
They're
again.
the protectors of the galaxies.
But that's what the Jedi thought they were
Skywalkers.
too, and they failed.
But they won't go through the strict ideologies of the Jedi, like the Jedi, they can't get married, they can't fall in love, stuff like that. They won't follow
okay.
probably the Jedi text. It won't be as strict.
Yeah, it was a very dogmatic kind of thing where they had to adhere to these rules because of the balance of the light. You had to keep the light within your soul. And as we see, and this is what's happening, this is part of the narrative, and this was emphasized in episode 8, is the fact that you have opposing forces. If Kylo becomes worse and stronger into the dark side, right? Rey becomes stronger in the light side. Because her training, she really barely trained.
Yeah.
And at the end, she was just as a formidable foe to Kylo, who's been training under Luke Skywalker.
Was before,
and he says, as darkness rises, so the light does.
So she just like through osmosis gets stronger in the Force?
It's a yin and yang. So it's
but
these
I feel like you
forces
have to
that
earn
pull, it swings. So it's a swing. And the more you push one way, the more it's going to pull back.
But based on that theory, why was Anakin so powerful? Because he wasn't the only person that had powers back then. You had an opposing force, which was Sidious back then, right, when Anakin was growing up. But you had all these other Jedis pulling on the light side. So wouldn't their collective force equal Sidious's power and Darth Maul's at the time, and Count Dooku's and all that?
Oh, you're talking about prequels.
Yes.
You said Luke.
No, I said Anakin.
He said Anakin.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there wasn't any yin and yang there based on that theory. You're telling me that if there's a yin,
Well,
there's a yang.
goes-
But if you have 150 Jedi, shouldn't their yin equal one Darth
Well,
Sidious's
that's why
yang?
Order 66 was able to wipe them out like
But
nothing.
Anakin was super strong before that.
But Anakin also, and that's another tale of swinging back and forth. You're infusing this guy with the light, he pushed back with the darkness. So you pulled him so much towards that light, and again, it was a failure because at the end of the day,
He became...
he became the very
Well, then
thing.
again, actually, Yoda and them denied him to be trained, so maybe he wasn't as light as we think. He still had that darkness that was kind of 50-50 in him. Spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't read the comic series or is currently reading the Marvel comic series based on Darth Vader. We're about to reveal something that is canon now on that comic. I'll give you a second.
And again, this may be a spoiler to those who haven't read the comics, in the fact that Sidious created Anakin.
Yes.
That was revealed.
Yes, it was revealed in canon that Sidious, through Force powers, put Anakin inside his mother.
The
exactly.
Force, or for the prequelists, the midichlorians.
Yeah.
form.
Or for you real fans, they don't exist. But
He manipulated.
no, but he used the Force to put it in. Based on what you just said, I need to get my theory off my chest. Okay.
Yes, and
So-
I'm going to piggyback off of it.
That's fine. Okay, so Rise of the Skywalker. To me, the Skywalker is Darth Sidious. And let me explain why. We know that from canon, from the comics, that Darth Sidious put Anakin into his mother's belly. He got the last name Skywalker as growing up. So, thus, Darth Sidious is the original Skywalker. Now, is he alive? So based on what we know from Star Wars is that the light side, we have only ever seen light side ghosts or Force ghosts on the light side. We have never seen a dark side Force ghost, at least in the movies. I don't know about the extended universe in the books that are no longer canon, but in the movies we have never seen a dark side Force ghost. We have seen a dark side heavy area like on Dagobah, but we did not see a Force ghost. So I believe that Force ghost powers are cut off to the dark side, just like lightning, Force lightning is cut off to the light side. We have never seen a Force lightning on the light side. So that is why Darth Sidious' master, Darth Plagueis, and even back to Darth Bane, for that you extended universe people, they are always infatuated with living forever. So, can you live forever in that body? Could have Darth Sidious lived forever in that body? I don't believe so. So here comes my main theory. Either this was planned from the beginning, or J.J. Abrams figured this out if it goes this way, and he's the greatest director in my opinion. The reason they killed Snoke so easily is because Darth Sidious found out how to live forever by projecting his consciousness into bodies. That is why Snoke looks the way he does, all zombie-like, because he is just a reanimated body where Sidious has projected his consciousness into. That would make it worth him dying so easily. That would make him so much more irrelevant that they could just kill him off if they knew that they were going to bring back Sidious. So here you have Sidious, who has lived through the destruction of the Death Star because he has the ability to put his conscience in other vessels. I would also suppose to say this goes as far back as Darth Bane, who invented the rule of two. There always has to be a master and there always has to be an apprentice. So that the master, when the apprentice is ready, can then use his body as a vessel to continue his work and go stronger, and then find his own new apprentice and just keep putting his consciousness in other people. That's why I think Sidious is the rise of the Skywalker, and we will not see a Force ghost, but we may even see Kylo Ren with Sidious's mind inside him.
Yeah, and we even explored pretty much that the fact that there's almost a form of telekinesis through the Force, right? We saw that explored in Episode 8 where Kylo and Rey's minds were starting to be merged. And there's a lot of theories, although it wasn't confirmed, to the fact that Snoke was stirring up their minds and left that connection. So, again, Snoke could have been a guinea pig.
Yes.
He could have been this merge of just flesh, whether the flesh was created from the Force itself or from, who knows, maybe it's something a lot more carnivorous, and he just got like a bunch of pieces of dead body and stitched them
like
together.
a Frankenstein,
Like a Frankenstein, because when you really detail out Snoke, that's exactly what he looks like. He looks like all these pieces of flesh just stitched together to sort of resemble this human, this almost, hollow human.
Yeah.
So who knows if really he was seeding Kylo with all these thoughts.
But he was really somebody else.
But he was really something else to unlock him. This was his guinea pig, and now he can transcend Snoke's body and go into another vessel.
Yes.
That's actually hosting the dark side. Because think about it. Darth Sidious, quote-unquote, dies. But again, he knows the story of Darth Plagueis.
Correct.
The fact that you can manipulate the Force to create life, right? So Darth Sidious holds the key to this. He promises it to Anakin. Anakin becomes Darth Vader. You have two people that are citizens of the dark side. Darth Sidious dies. Darth Vader turns good, dies. There is no more dark side. So now he has to use his power, his abilities to influence.
Through the Force.
Through the Force.
Correct.
So now all he is an influence. And I think there's going to be a lot of sort of like, you could almost create a parallelism of like Voldemort, how he sort of set up his pieces with the Horcruxes.
Yeah, the Horcrux, yeah.
To sort of create or split his soul into different parts. I think there could be illusion, or you could draw a parallelism in your head of that same concept in the fact that Darth Sidious perhaps put or is manipulating things around him to generate the dark side of the Force in Kylo, have him create the Knights of Ren, create these vessels, this army for him, create all these people that are going to rise the Republic again, or the Empire, and create Starkiller Base and everything all over again.
Now that I'm thinking about it, in The Force Awakens, Kylo had said that Darth Vader came to him, right? He saw him in a vision. And Sidious has the power to make you see visions, right? Then, in The Last Jedi, when you had that discrepancy when Luke was going to wake him up, and Luke saw that he was just waking up his nephew because he felt something, And well, actually, he had a moment where he was going to kill him, right? But then he went down. But how Kylo described it, if you look at Luke's eyes when Kylo's describing it, those are Sidious's eyes.
What part?
When he's going to strike him, and Kylo says that he grabs his lightsaber and like defends himself, and that's when he just left. I'm seeing it in my head.
Darth Sidious manipulated
to
that
make him
situation,
see that.
but not only that, to push Luke to do that.
Correct.
Because even Luke regretted it moments later.
Correct.
So what if he's been able to manipulate him to be like something's going on with him, and really that was that trigger moment.
Yes. So behind the scenes, this whole time, it has been Sidious plotting and pushing things so that he could come back strong. And if we're going to defeat him, or if they're going to defeat, I say we. See, I feel like I'm a part of it. You know, like
I'm a member of this team now.
If they're gonna defeat him, it should be over 3 hours long.
Yo, well, for sure, the movie needs to be at least 3 hours long. I agree, because there is just too much of a story to tell.
It's too much.
There's too much, and if they try to cram it into anything, a short amount of time, it's going to feel forced. But to defeat him, you will have to defeat his ability to transcend his consciousness into other things. How they will do that, I don't know. But could we see Kylo Ren become what we thought he would be from the beginning through Sidious manipulating him? Or are we going to have Sidious, like, based on this theory, remember, this is just a theory, invade Poe or Finn or somebody else that's closer to them, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I could be wrong. He could literally be a Force ghost. And if he is a Force ghost, I'm down for a Luke Sidious Force Ghost battle.
Oh, God. One of the things as well is the fact that, and this is why I've enjoyed the sequels, you have a villain that is just genuinely dark to the core. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who say...
Kylo?
A lot of people say Kylo will be redeemed. Kylo will be redeemed.
I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he
will. And he shouldn't.
Yeah.
It is established from the beginning. It's established from the beginning. And this is probably one of my only favorite things about The Force Awakens is the fact that from the beginning, it establishes that Kylo is merciless.
Mm-hmm.
No, he had conflictions, he said.
Kills his father.
Once he kills his father,
he
can't
had
go
to
back.
kill his father to finally become merciless.
Yes.
But before that, he struggled.
He struggled because
Yeah.
he had this, and then he shined it away, and you even had the parallelism of the sun going down, right? And then it finally goes black. Mm-hmm. And that's when he turns on the lightsaber and he kills him.
Yeah.
So that was a shed of light that he had in him. Mm-hmm. Even in episode 8, when they fought together for Snoke, that for a second you're like, oh my gosh, did he just turn good? Did he just decide to turn good? And at the end he's like, join me, Rey. Yeah. And together we can rule the Empire. Like, no, this is a guy who I think his only soft spot is Leia, his mother.
Yeah, because he didn't kill her.
Only soft spot.
Yeah, right before she Harry Pottered her way back into the...
Exactly.
I liked that.
You liked when she became the
I
Force
cried like a little
Oh
baby during that scene.
No,
she was like the fairy,
I
godmother.
liked it.
No, in my opinion, no disrespect to her, but they should have let her go out like a captain, and when she got blown up, that was it, and then he continued.
No,
but
not
that's
for
just
our
me.
princess.
I agree. I would wish we had more time with her, but the fact of what happened.
Yeah,
and,
but not an explosion. No.
So,
anyways.
So really, the fact that now you have, Darth Sidious kind of put all his chess pieces into Darth Vader, and Darth Vader at the end turned on him. Mm-hmm. So now he has Kylo, and he's seeing, wow, this guy does not have a soft spot for anybody.
Yeah.
He's ruthless. Now he's like, I can trust in him, and I can sort of move my pieces. It's like chess.
Okay. So you think he was a little burnt before from the Skywalker family? Like, I tried this once.
Yes. And now he's seeing Kylo, and he's to the point that Kylo kills Snoke just so that he could be on top. Because Sith feed off of that. Mm-hmm. They feed off of that greed. Okay, you have the same greed because that's the same greed
me down,
I have.
and you will become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Snoke wanted, or in our theory, continuing to our theory, I think Darth Sidious wanted to see how far will you go, Kylo? Will you go as far as I need you to go?
Mm. So if we're at all on the right track, I think that would be like a really satisfying movie.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
We agree on something when it comes to Star Wars.
Well, I'm agreeing for... I disagree. No, I'm kidding. I would be upset. No, I'm kidding. No, as long as I'm not sitting down there and I'm like, dude, why is this exactly like the same narrative as Return of the Jedi?
It didn't seem like it was, except when they were on that speeder thing in whatever that sand planet is. That was like the same speeder that they were on when they almost went in the Starlight Pit. So it was very similar. That is true.
So as long as this creates a new story, even though I know that the elements are from the original story, so okay. But as long as they create a new line of ideas, of characters, and they continue to develop these characters, not just kind of like bang them around, kind of how I feel that they've done up to now.
I agree with you.
I think this is going to end the Skywalker saga, and you're going to be able to have new content till eternity, so you'll feel a lot better. I want to explore more. And we will do that. We just need this saga.
Speaking of new content.
Speaking of new content, we have 2 completely new things that we want to talk about. Before we talk about them, I just want to tell you guys, whatever theories you have, send them to us. Put them in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or send them to us through our DMs on either Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. We want to know, and we'd like to talk about them on the next podcast, or any questions that you have when it comes to Star Wars. We want to talk about them on the next podcast.
Or if you think that our theories are the best one and that's what's going to happen, also give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Make sure that you just tell all your friends and that we came up with it, and that because that's our brainchild right there.
We pseudo wrote it.
Yeah, so. pseudo. We didn't ghostwrite it. We didn't force ghostwrite it. Speaking of new content, we have a new game coming out for all you gamers called Jedi Fallen Order. I saw the trailer to this, and it looks very exciting. It looks like we're getting an original story. From what I've researched, it takes place 5 years after the events of Order 66, when all the Jedi were wiped out. And I don't know the name of the main character, but he seems to be like a regular guy who discovers he has force powers, or maybe he had force powers before and he was like a youngling, and now he's just hiding incognito. What have you learned about this game so far, Mary?
I'll be honest with you. The only panel that I was able to watch was the episode 9 panel. I was not available to watch this EA panel. I was able to see the trailer. I like the trailer. Let me tell you, I'm a big Star Wars game person. I have, as weird as it sounds, I have years of experience playing Star Wars games.
That's not weird.
I have years of experience playing different types of Star Wars games. So again, Star Wars game, I'm so down. I'm pretty sure we're going to dive into this, but my concern is the fact that as good as it looks in a trailer form, and I love the storyline games, I love those type of games, I am concerned that it is made by EA.
Yeah.
Beautiful game, gorgeous visuals. It's probably a great story, but if it's made by EA, I don't know, man. Is it going to have those hidden fees that we have to worry about that they're going to hit you with? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they did say they released a tweet that did say that there will be no microtransactions.
Yeah, but it could be in the form of something else.
It will not be pay to play, and they won't be adding them, which basically is an admission of guilt that they shouldn't have done it in the first place when it came to Battlefront.
Yeah, but they said that for the Battlefront 2 game, they're like, yeah, no more whatever boxes.
That's where it all started. That's where it all started, though.
No more loot boxes. No more loot boxes. There was no more loot boxes, which was in Battlefront 1, but Battlefront 2 had microtransactions in a different form. And then everybody got pissed off, like, oh, great, you just see this.
It was pay to play in number 2.
They had loot boxes as well. It was different. It was little boxes, and they had cards in it that would unlock like different things, and they were very, very, very difficult to get.
Unless you paid for them.
So
it was pay to play, and they
calculated it, and you had to play like a certain amount.
And there was all this uprising, and everybody was upset, and they were boycotting EA, and they were saying, don't buy this game. They were returning the game, and now they've released this tweet knowing that the fans are not with it. And personally, I think we have a right to be cautious when it comes to buying a game from EA. I think that they need to learn their lesson. In my opinion, no one should be pre-ordering this game until it comes out and it has proven itself that it is a quality game.
Now, that is where I will have to oppose, because being quite frank, I'm pre-ordering this game.
Then you're part of the problem.
No, I am part of the solution. No. I am part of the audience. I'm not here to dictate. Me alone, whether or not I spend the money, I will not stop them from developing these games. Okay?
Not true.
What will happen is I will either enjoy this game or I will hate it. Nothing will change that. So you can sit on the sidelines and wait for people like me to tell you that the game is good. I'm not going to be one of those people. I like to go out, especially, and this isn't with everything. If you tell me, hey, what's a good pizza place? I'm going to take out my phone and I'm going to look up reviews for what's the best pizza place around me. For Star Wars, I'm not going to wait for someone to say, hey, that movie, hey, that game, it was really good. No, I want to experience it for myself because I like being the first. I like going and drawing my own conclusion. I like being there and being like, man, I love this. Because then guess what? You're going to wait 2-3 weeks for people to finish the game and be like, hey, yeah, it was good. And now you're 2-3 weeks behind and everyone's talking about it and everything. No, I want to be first. I want to have my own idea. Because then this is also what happens. Someone can tell you that the game isn't good, but you would have loved it. And now you're missing out on playing a game that you would have fallen in love with because someone told you it wasn't good.
But I think your driving factor, you said it 3 times while you were making your explanation, is that you want to be the first.
3 times for emphasis.
Okay, but I think that's your driving factor. That's your Freudian slip, is that you want to be first. All you really care, you do care about the game, but you just want to play it first before anybody spoils anything, before anybody tells you anything. I don't want to leave a franchise I love in the hands of somebody that's going to give me mediocre products because they want to make $1 off of me. Bob Iger almost pulled Star Wars franchise from EA because of their shenanigans in the past. And by pre-ordering it, you are allowing them to continue a behavior of shenanigans. But since we are on opposites of this, we can try our new segment. Our new segment is called Crossfire, based on the 90s game. Crossfire! Yeah, based on the 90s game of where 2 opposing people had to rapidly fire as fast as possible at this disc to try to push it to the other person's side. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to put, the way Crossfire works is we get 30 seconds each to speak as fast as possible.
Oh, it's not one breath?
It's not one breath. No. One breath is another segment that we haven't put out yet. We have 30 seconds to speak as fast as possible on this subject to try to sway the audience onto each person's either of our sides. Crossfire, you can't get enough. Crossfire. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds on the clock, right? You go first. You say why.
You're going to counter-argument my things. All right, that's fine. All right, I'm confident.
All right, so it's 30 seconds on the clock. You're going to talk up to the people about why you think they should blindly buy this game like a bunch of sheep. All right, ready? And 3, 2, 1, go.
You're not sheep because you're actually one of the few people that are going to go out and create an opinion of yourself and not formulate it off of the reviews of other people. The other thing is that there's a common misconception that EA is developing this game. EA is not even developing this game, they're publishing it, which means they're distributing it. It's actually Respawn Entertainment. Respawn Studios is the one that's actually creating and developing the game. They're the same people who made Apex, Titanfall, and the original Call of Duty that everybody loved. These are games that are beloved by everybody, so it's actually going to be a lot of fun. And the narrative of this game is actually going to be a lot of fun. Dang, I wasn't even looking at the clock.
Right, you wrapped it up pretty nicely there. Okay. All right, ready? 3. This is my counter argument. Ready?
This is a counter argument of why you should be a sheep and wait for someone else to tell you what to do.
All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I know that EA is not really making this game and it's made by the Respawn people, but this Respawn and it made all these great games before they were in the EA limelight. EA has proven themselves to be a very shady company when it comes to the fans. They're not real fans of Star Wars. They just want you to make money off of you. They could care less. Once they have your money, they always put something in that angers the fans. So I really think that by pre-ordering it, you're pushing that behavior, and we should use our money to cast our vote that we want quality content for Star Wars now and in the future.
Wow, with 2 seconds left, you made no argument.
I made an absolute argument. See, I didn't need the whole 30 seconds because it's clear cut.
No, in 28 seconds, you pretty much didn't persuade me.
Well, I know I didn't persuade you. I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm trying to persuade the masses. So, in the comments, tell us who do you think is right here. Should you
love Star Wars and pre-order the game,
or
just because you love it and you're like, you know what? If I hate the game, whatever. But at least if I love it, then I get to enjoy it and just sit down, have a good game, have a beer while you play it, and enjoy yourself. Don't worry about what people say.
Or should you love Star Wars and make sure that Disney puts it in the hands of a company that's going to do it justice?
That's a good counter argument. I like that sentence, but I still don't agree with you.
All right, and I still don't agree with you. Okay, moving on. There's one other great thing that we want to talk about, and that is The Mandalorian.
Oh, yes.
Mandalorian, if you don't know what it is a new series that will be on Disney Plus. Yes, another streaming service. It will be on Disney Plus, and it will be all about a unknown person of the Mandalorian race, who is the same race that Boba Fett is from. And it has a very impressive cast, as well as a very impressive directing cast, with the likes of Jon Favreau, Taika Waititi, who made Thor Ragnarok, and Bryce Dallas, who is the woman from Jurassic World.
There's
and
many
other things, but the most recently Jurassic World, I believe. So we're very excited for this. In my opinion, kind of series are taking over more than movies, because they have so much longer to tell the story, to let it develop, and to really get character development out there. Like, I would just go as far to say that I would wish that these most recent Star Wars movies with Rey were actually just a series on television.
Oh, absolutely.
So they could tell the story, you know?
Yeah, listen, I wish the Marvel series, I wish Infinity War and Endgame were 23 episodes, each 1 hour long.
Yes.
I would have enjoyed
with
that
the production value of a movie, but
Yeah.
just longer to tell the story, because you're confined by that time frame.
And I think Netflix really broke that,
Yes.
The fact that not only did you have, because you also had broadcast TV where when they ordered a season, it had to be 23 episodes. So then you had, obviously these writers are scrambling and you start having filler episodes.
Yeah.
But once you had streaming services where you don't particularly have, we need to get people sitting down this long so we got these amount of advertisements and whatnot. Now you're at the liberty, you're not constrained by advertising. Now you're at the liberty of saying, I can make 6, 8 episodes.
Correct.
Whatever it takes to tell my story.
Yeah.
And each episode, one could be 30, another one could be 50, another one could be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now you're at a liberty, right? So now the art starts to show itself.
Yeah. And Netflix has proven through their content, and even Hulu and all these other streaming services, that good quality material doesn't have to be in a theater. It can be at home. It can be on your television, and it can be high production value. Bird Box was a movie that did very well, and it was movie quality. There wasn't any kind of like cheesy CGI or anything like that, and it did very well, and it was from a streaming service. So we're getting away from the times where the most highest quality screen content you have to pay $15 a pop to go see.
Yeah.
Now you get $15 and you see 4 of them in a month if they come out. Or no, the series comes out all together when it's on Netflix.
Now
so
you're not
you get
waiting
10 episodes that are high quality. So
you're getting 10 hours, quote unquote,
Yes.
when you used to only get 2.
And this is why I'm excited for The Mandalorian, because this will give them time to develop. And judging by the trailer, which is awesome, we look like we're in for a really impressive ride.
It just looked so freaking fantastical. The fact that there's going to be puppets, animatronics.
Oh, yes.
Puppets,
Yes,
animatronics,
yes.
and everything's going to be like actual real life, not just sets, but real life locations, things like that. It gets me so excited. Yeah, and I just wanted to clarify, I actually looked up just specifically, in regards to directors and things like that. Jon Favreau is the one he's the creator, he's the writer, and he's the showrunner of the entire Mandalorian series. Under the entire Mandalorian series, there's different directors that are going to be making different episodes. One of the directors is Dave Filoni, which he is the head of the Star Wars Clone Wars shows.
Which is done very well.
He did the Star Wars Rebels series.
Which is done very well.
So this, I think, is his first time directing an actual live action TV episode, which is awesome. He understands Star Wars. Then in the lineup, you have a director, Deborah Chow. I don't know who she is, but apparently she directed episodes of Jessica Jones. Rick Famuyiwa, I don't know who that is, but he directed Dope. Bryce Dallas Howard, who is Ron Howard's daughter, she directed something called Soulmates. She's also an actress. And Taika Waititi, he's made a lot of different movies, but we know him for Thor Ragnarok. So this is such an impressive lineup. This could be hot trash for what I know. But the pictures look so good quality. The teaser trailer that I saw on YouTube looked so awesome. And then there was a different segment where it wasn't just the teaser trailer. They were talking about behind the scenes looks. And Jon Favreau was saying that the effort that they're putting into The Mandalorian is that they want this to be, you want it to feel like it is in the Star Wars universe, but at the same time, a different universe all on its own. Okay. It's going to feel like Star Wars, but it's going to feel different at the same time. You're going to see creatures, you're going to see puppets, it's going to have all those visual effects. I believe it's going to be 5 years after the Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, okay.
5 years after the Return of the Jedi, but just in a different part of the galaxy, different story, different timeline. But we're going to see stormtroopers, so it's going to feel familiar, and it's going to be different at the same time. And let me tell you, I mean, for $6.99 a month,
it is pretty cheap compared to the other one. It is pretty cheap.
And the day the Disney streaming service is available, to my understanding, the entire season of The Mandalorian will be available on the first day.
Well, they kind of have to do that because they're playing catch up here. Disney's playing catch up.
I believe it's the entire season, or I know for sure it's available the first day. Is it the whole season?
The whole season.
I know it's available the first day.
Yeah,
for sure.
So they are playing catch up. There's all these great series on all of these other streaming services. Right. So Disney has to come guns blazing.
Right. And Disney's streaming service, it's going to be around forever. It's Disney.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It's going to be
forever.
around
So much properties. And when they're dropping, it's going to be the only streaming service that has The Simpsons. Which just alone is the longest running series.
Yeah, but The Simpsons kind of had... I love The Simpsons. Don't get me wrong. I love
That's not a selling
The
point.
Simpsons.
That's not the reason I'm going to go
But they've had their time.
But the argument here is the fact that Disney now owns so much.
Yes, correct. I think what we're going to see...
What is it? Intellectual property.
Yes. I think what we're going to see, though, is a lot of because they have the series S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Mm-hmm. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that kind of plays an adjunct to the movies. Like if you ever watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whenever they have a season finale, it ties into an Avengers movie. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to start getting offshoots of X-Men. I think they're going to start seeding their X-Men characters into this Disney Plus. They haven't announced anything yet. They announced there's going to be a Loki. They announced that The Mandalorian, Hawkeye.
Scarlet Witch, she's going to have her own series.
But is it the actors from the movies?
To my understanding, yes.
Oh, so they're coming out really hardcore guns blazing.
Yeah.
Because when we got Daredevil and Punisher, we didn't get the ones from the movies. You know, we didn't get Ben Affleck over there doing Daredevil, and thank goodness for that. But
even then, these characters, although they were in the same universe and there was allusions to it, they never tied in on a cinematic level.
But for the ability for Disney to tie in on a cinematic level and tell the stories that aren't necessarily big blockbuster movie type material, but are smaller stories that are still quality content, they'll tell the narrative behind the scenes. Because whenever we have these Avengers movies, there's always like, oh, how'd they figure that out? And how'd they know that? And they can tell those stories based on our reactions, or kind of just tell the stories that are side stories that they want to tell. Mm-hmm. They can also introduce characters through their streaming service that they might not have time to introduce in the cinematic universe.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things about the way that Disney, particularly Marvel, has established this empire is there's a payoff to the fans depending on how invested they are. So the more invested you are, the more Easter eggs you catch. So I personally haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but when I was watching Captain Marvel, I was with a friend that did. And he pointed out various things like, oh, this is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in whatever season, and it was an Easter egg. that was probably very rewarding for him. For me, it would have completely blown over my head. So I could only assume that they're going to build on sprinkling these Easter eggs further into the movies of blink and you'll miss it if you didn't watch the series. But if you did watch the series, you'd be like, oh, look at the picture frame on this in this person's house, or look at the trophy that they won because there's a trophy in the background and they got it from an episode in this.
Yeah, Disney loves putting stuff like that in, and if you spent the time to kind of like divulge into all the lore, there'll be payoff from them. They might be 10 seconds of payoff, but it feels rewarding to know, hey, I read 30 comics and I'm able to pick this out that nobody else was ever to pick out. That's if you're into that. Some people are more casual watchers. Some people are more hardcore Marvel fans and Star Wars fans and stuff like that. But so The Mandalorian, it's going to be kind of a nobody bounty hunter, right? It's not. Boba Fett has not been confirmed to be in this.
Well, we don't know exactly the details of the story yet.
Well, no, they did
What
say.
if it ends with like
they did say
being, like him being completely related or training?
I don't think so.
no, because Boba is 5 years after the Last Jedi, and Boba Fett's dead at that point.
I'm sorry, I thought it was 5 years after
Return of
Revenge
the Jedi.
Sith.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, Return of
okay.
the Jedi. So Boba Fett's dead at that point. So for being a character that has the most littlest screen time, he's such a fascinating character, and he's kind of just blown up in his popularity. We've got to see Chewie's background in Solo and in Revenge of the Sith when we went to Kashyyyk, and we got to see all his family and like where they lived and all that kind of stuff. But we still don't have a lot of info on Boba Fett. So this will help us to not directly get info on Boba Fett, but to get info into the Mandalorians and their kind of culture and what they're all about. So it's exciting. I am excited to see this.
One of my only fears with Disney, I recently read an article about their marketing strategy for Disney Stream, and it's to have a 90% visibility. What that means is out of 10 people that know that Disney exists, 9 of them need to know that Disney Plus exists. That is a very, very aggressive strategy. So, of course, this is the purpose of this is for Disney to break through the streaming services and set its platform as a foundation. A lot of these are rising up. Every single person wants to have their own streaming services. Now you have even channels like HBO and AMC where they provide their own streaming platform for their shows. And what was appealing about Netflix and Hulu is the fact that I'm cutting the cord on cable. I'm saving $60 because now I'm paying $8.99, $9.99 to get all this content. So now I have to sign up for a service because now I want to watch The Mandalorian. So now I'm going to have to pay $7 more. And now they're going to drop something on Hulu. So, okay, now I got to pay $9.99 for Hulu. How long is it going to go? Amazon has their own and they have their own shows.
Yeah.
How long is it going to go until now I'm paying $60, $70 because now it's like channels. This channel has a show that I like, and this channel. So now I'm paying for this package of channels because they each have
Then you're back
a
up
show.
to the $60 for the satellite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are we going to go full circle in that aspect?
I mean, I'm not too worried about that because I paid $60 for satellite and had 400 channels, and I watched 5 of them. But in this aspect, I'm paying for a service that has a bunch of shows that I actually want to watch. So I think Disney Plus does have a lot of the titles that we're all going to want to watch. We know DC has tried their hand on this. I haven't touched it. I still don't trust them. Shazam was good, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm totally all back in, put all my chips into DC again. So we're going to see more of these popping up, probably. But I think Disney's going to pull most of their titles from other streaming services and put it all into their streaming service.
They are.
So, exactly. They've already done it. So they are going to do that. Hopefully we'll get Daredevil back and Jessica Jones and all those things eventually.
I think they're going to succeed with that strategy because of the fact that, the other streaming services, they have a different mix of things for kids, things for adults. Parents are going to want their kids to look at things that are obviously for kids. And the Disney streaming service, it's not going to have mature content that kids will not be able to access. It's going to be open for kids of a certain age and everything. So I think that'll be appealing to parents, and I think that I think it's gonna succeed.
All right, so Disney streaming service. Will you be watching?
I'll be streaming it. I'll be pirating it.
You'll be watching. I think we'll be watching.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down.
If it has 1 month free, then I'll have 6 different emails.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Then I'll get 6 months
through
free.
a series of events, I have Netflix free and I already have Hulu free. So I'm not really paying for any of them right now. So I probably will put.
I talk a lot, but I pay for my Netflix and Hulu. So
Yeah. You pay for your Netflix?
yeah.
Do you have T-Mobile?
No,
They give you Netflix for free.
I have Verizon.
We'll switch to T-Mobile.
It's a company phone.
Pay us T-Mobile. No, seriously, I got a new
It's a
phone.
company phone. I don't pay for it.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know. I got a new phone.
I'm not gonna pay
and they gave me
$40
Netflix for free.
T-Mobile.
All right. Anyways. All right. So that is episode 4. It was all about Star Wars. We hope you enjoyed it. We love Star Wars. It will continue to be a topic we will return to as more trailers come out, as more information is given to us about The Mandalorian, about the Fallen Order, about episode 9. We will probably be fighting over this forever. You can fight along with us. Please give us your opinions. Please leave your questions down in the comment. We would love to shout you out, and we would love to talk about your questions here on the podcast. If you've listened this far, we'd like to give you a gift as always. If you go to our website and you type in at checkout GeekCast, how much will they get off, right?
25% off.
25% off our merch, including Star Wars merch. We have a lot of Star Wars merch. We have hats, we have bags, we have just a lot of great stuff, and we add almost every week. We're adding new items. Comment, hashtag us, tell us what you like, tell us what you didn't like. We enjoyed talking with you guys. We're going to talk about this stuff regardless, so we might as well share it with you guys, and if you like it, then we will keep going. Media Mike isn't here today, so we are not going to be doing a Mount Rushmore, but thank you for listening. We love you guys. May the Force be with you.
Stay geeky.
May the Force be with you.
Sometime in the future, the ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire!